Call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Wait a second, no.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As for a motion for the acceptance of the minutes for the April 10th, 2018
So
meeting.
moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries unanimous. Public forum? Mr. Gurgi is going to speak about teacher aides. Mr. Gurgi, while you're certainly welcome to talk about the topic, you cannot mention any specific person.
Okay, on the subject, I noticed there is a proliferation of teacher aide positions seeming to occur. You seem to be creating a bunch of teacher aide positions. I was curious if you're going to be requiring a teacher certification of teacher aides. It is my viewpoint that most pedagogically relevant positions should be considered stepping stones for people into the teaching profession. I feel that, you know, the wages in this district have gotten very high, and I think maybe starting people right out at the current, you know, salary levels, maybe it would be better to have people starting out in some sort of mixed position. And I would like to ask the question, is there something stopping you from having a mixture of teacher and teacher aide positions, say a 2/5 teacher position, 3/5 teacher aide position? And I'm going to, as I've been harping on over the years, of methods to reform and modify the system of tenure, how perhaps a system of things where you could have a person be a teacher and a teacher aide or some other status and teacher, and then have a system of prorated tenure. For example, after so many years, you get approved for tenure for a part teacher position, and then have a few more, a fractional position added on to that to be tenured later, to make it a more of a gradual process rather than this god-awfully apocalyptic sort of decision to make about someone, like a life or death kind of determination. So in other words, it's been the theme I've harped on over the years. And so I guess I'd like to put that question to the nature of the requirements for a position such as this, and whether you could envision a kind of mixed positions, and therefore have a more gradual sort of a tenuring process. So that is a question I would put to you.
Thank you, Mr. Gurgi. I'm going to have the superintendent address that.
So, Mr. Gurgi, that's a good question. The State Education Department has already tackled that issue, the difference between a teacher assistant and a teacher aide. So a teacher assistant is indeed a tenure track position. There are educational requirements that the state has for that, and the teacher assistant provides assistive instruction in the classroom to a teacher, whereas the teacher aide is not. It's more of a supportive role in the classroom, and civil service guides the job duties of a teacher aide. So we have that information in the office if you'd like to pick it up. But there is a clear distinguishing. There's memos and literature out from State Ed about what distinguishes those two positions. So
could you mix the positions? Could you decide you're going to
a
hire
a teacher assistant can do the work of a teacher aide, but a teacher aide cannot do the work of a teacher assistant. So there are very specific guidelines on who can do what. So we have that, and I don't want to belabor it here. If you'd like to stop in, we can surely share that information, and we can direct you to the link on the website. Actually, if you go to nysed.gov and you type in teacher assistant requirements, you'll be able to find that information on their website.
But these positions were teacher aide or teacher assistant?
These are teacher aide positions. These are not tenured positions, tenure track positions. These are civil service positions.
Thank you, Mr. Gurgi.
Okay.
We'll now go on to presentations. Mr. Moyer, winter sports recap.
Thank you, Mr. Ponte. Superintendent Wiles and the board, I again want to thank you for inviting me in to recap our fantastic winter season and a continuation of what we've done positively in athletics through the school year so far. I do have an extra one here if you need one. Did everybody get a copy of the PowerPoint? I put several out at your places, so if you need
I
one,
think
I do have
everybody
an
has
extra
one.
one here. So again, keeping and being consistent with what I've done in the past, again, would like to highlight with our teams the programs and our participation numbers, the academic successes, and any postseason honors both as a team and individual. So boys indoor track continue to have good participation numbers, as you can see, 45 athletes for the boys team. Modified, we had 17. And in terms of their academic average, they had 7 boys that had a 90 or above during the academic year, the second marking period, and 3 of those 45 athletes had an average of 85 to 89.9. With the girls track and field program, since I started serving the district here, this is the second year girls indoor track has been a Scholar Team Athlete Award winner. This was our only team award winner this winter season. They had a 93.57, and you can see
Mr. Moyer, can you just pull the microphone up closer?
I
We
sure
just
can.
got some, thank you very much.
I'd be happy to. Sorry about that.
Perfect.
And I'll recap. So the girls track team was a Team Scholar Athlete Award winner for the second year. And of their 29 athletes, you can see that 25 of them carried an average of 85 or higher, and that's outstanding. I think that's we should, and I'm sure we're all very proud of that and very positive. And I'll get to their accomplishments on the track here shortly. Our wrestling program, we had a new coach this year, Mr. Lek Rakuk, and still trying to grow and work that program. We also had a new modified coach this year, Nick George. We had 14 total athletes in the program, and you can see the number of students academically in the ranges that I've been discussing. Girls basketball had a much improved season this year over last year. They ended up having a 10-9 record overall. I'll talk a little bit more about that. Again, consistent numbers across the board for them in terms of the number of athletes participating at each level. Those are similar to last year. They also were a strong contender for the Scholar Athlete team. It's very specific. You need a 90.00 or higher, and they actually had a they had an 89.92, so they just missed it, but certainly very proud of them and their academic progress as well. Boys basketball, again, very consistent numbers across the board in terms of the number of participants with that program. And you can see their academic averages and how the number of boys that were above 85. All right, so let's get really to the highlights. And these are the things that I'm pleased with, very proud of, and I'm sure you are as well. Boys indoor track and team, in terms of their team finish this year, they finished 4th at the divisional meet and 2nd in the Sullivan County Championship event. Again, a very young team, but we had some pretty good performances and they did well throughout the season. Girls, a couple of firsts here. They were first in the OCIA Division IV Championship, placed 2nd at the Sullivan Championship, and had a great showing at the Sectional Class B Championships where they finished 3rd. Varsity girls basketball, I mentioned a little bit earlier. Again, they qualified for the sectionals again this year, improved upon their record from the previous year. They were 10-9 this year, and advanced to the quarterfinal round of the Class B tournament where they lost to Fallsburg. They had a very exciting game. They defeated Rondout Valley in the pre-quarter game, and we hosted that this year. They were the 7th seed. Varsity boys basketball, as many of you know, just a great season, continued a strong tradition that we have in boys basketball here. They won the Division III championship in the Mid-Hall. We played a very tough Millbrook team in the semifinal round, lost a close game there. In the Mid-Hall tournament, then advanced to sectional play as the 2nd seed, qualified for the 8th consecutive year, and we defeated Highland and Spackenkill at home. We were able to play 2 home games this year, and then many of you were in attendance as well and played a great game and did well. Just came up a little bit short in the sectional final at OCC. Now let's highlight some of our individual athletes. In the wrestling program, we had 2 juniors who continued to improve, throughout their career. Nick Rakook finished 2nd, Jason 3rd at the sectional championships. You'll note here that Azella Rivera, this is a coach's selection for the All-Star Conference Award. The league doesn't recognize all conference, but the coaches do pick student athletes, and senior Azella Rivera was selected by the coaches. And also, Azella is going to go to Orange County Community. Just a few weeks ago, we had her national letter of intent signing, so she's very excited about going there and continuing her academic and athletic career at Orange Community. On the boys' side, a couple of different awards for some players here. Ramel Johnson, a senior, junior Savan DiConcilio, and sophomore Justin Giuliano were selected to be B-Canny All-Star Award winners in Class B. Just to help you out again, B-Canny is the Basketball Coaches Association of New York, and for student athletes to be recognized their coach has to be a member, and Mr. Bonnets is a member of B-Canny. Also from B-Canny, Max Rodriguez was the Class B champion for his overall percentage shooting free throws. It was around 80 to 81% for the season, so he had a real good season as well. Daley Freeman selected an all-star team. The same 3 boys were recognized by the Freeman. You can see Ramel was 2nd team, Savan was 3rd, and Justin was considered honorable mention. And that includes all classes. So that's different than the B-Canny Awards. The B-Canny Awards are just Class B schools. The Daley Freeman All-Star teams include the AA, A, B, C, and D schools. So it's a compilation of all the kids that are in the readership area of the Daley Freeman. Senior Asenel Bruce qualified for the state championships in track and field. I've indicated here, you can see she set 2 new indoor track and field records as well. So we're very proud of her and looking forward to her season and the outdoor season as well. And the last piece, we had our 3rd coach this year be recognized as a Coach of the Year. Brian Bonnets was recognized by the Daley Freeman as the Boys Basketball Coach of the Year. And again, I'd like to emphasize that was across all classes. So all the AA coaches, A coaches, B, C, and D as well. So that's a great recognition for Brian. Certainly great for our school and our district. As you recall, we had 2 in the fall as well, so he's our 3rd one this year, along with Dan Cavanaugh and Max Mead, who were named Coaches of the Year in the fall season. So those are the highlights. I'm always pleased to share, and I appreciate you inviting me in. And, we just had a great winter season, and the year's been awesome. And, we're off to a good start with the spring. Hopefully the weather will break here soon. It's still been kind of problematic for us, but we're getting started a little bit here as well. So happy to entertain any questions as always.
Thank you, Mr. Moyer. And just like to say on behalf of the Board of Education, we'd like to extend our sincerest appreciation and congratulations to all your athletes and all the students that participated in athletics, whether they received an award or not, and certainly to all the coaches who dedicated their time selflessly to the causes of teaching and training our children to be successful sportsmen in the areas of sportsmanship, and also to be scholar athletes. So I'd like to extend that to everybody as well.
Appreciate it, President Matrician. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Questions?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Moyer, just a quick question. I know sometimes numbers are a problem. And we're kind of restarting that wrestling program back up again. Do
Yes.
we anticipate increase in numbers for next year?
Yes, we do. We're starting to feel the influx of our youth program that's been going on, prior to me starting as well, but for 2 years we had very good numbers again through that 3rd through 6th grade program. So I know they're excited about, definitely getting greater numbers at the modified. And I know Mr. Recruit will still continue to recruit and try to get athletes out for the varsity team as well.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, great question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moyer. Anybody else? Thank you. Again,
You're
thank you.
welcome.
All right, we will now move on to reports, information, and correspondence for this evening. For myself, just like to tell the public that all the candidate petitions are in. There were 5 candidates on the ballot this year, 2 incumbents and 3 that are seeking, and there's 3 open seats. The vote's on Tuesday, May 15th at, I believe, what time does it go? 8 to 8?
To 8,
It goes from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
here.
Here in the Media Center. So please come out and vote. We encourage as many people to come out and vote. That would also be the day of the budget vote as well. And I'm sure that that'll be talked about in a few. Any other board members have any concerns? Wayne?
Just want to congratulate the high school drama club, the students, volunteers, Andy, Holly. They did a great job as usual. We have a lot of talent here, so it was nice to see that. But with that said, our microphones in the auditorium, can we look at that? They really went out a lot. And I'm not sure if that's in one of our projects that we're looking to do here shortly, but we get a lot of use out of that room. And it was sad because the students work really hard for a very long time, and the mics go out often.
So the microphones that we use, we actually rented them because some of our microphones broke a couple years ago. And so I'll talk to Tim about that, to talk to the company that we rented them from. But we used them last year, and they performed very well. But upgrades to the light, sound is what we're, and seating, we're expecting to put forth in the next referendum. So right now we're renting, so I'm kind of shocked that you say that, so I'll have to have Tim
Yeah,
talk to
I
the
would-
company we rented it from.
Yeah, have a conversation with Andy or somebody. I heard it from where I was, and the mics went out often, where you couldn't, actually when Andy was on Saturday giving the, the accolades and, to the seniors that had been in the place since 7th grade or 8th grade or whatever it is, and, his mic went out as well.
It was cutting out?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
big problem.
We'll bring
but
it
the
up
kids
with
did a
the
great
vendor.
job, and so did, Andy and the volunteers setting it up.
That play was great. I heard the play was very, very well
Yeah,
done.
it was good.
Any other board members? John?
Yes, Mr. Matrician, I just want to let everybody know that tomorrow will be the first meeting of our Hall of Fame committee, where we'll start to take a look at nominations for the inaugural class. And I'd like to ask the public to take a look and see if they can think of any great athletes or coaches in the past that they would like to nominate. Again, once you nominate somebody, you don't have to do it again. They stay on the list. But we really could use a few more nominations for the first class. And so you can get an application printed offline, or you can even stop in and see Mr. Moyer, and they could give you one. But tomorrow we'll start that process, and,
Great.
and we're not long before the October 5th homecoming game.
Well, that's great. Glad to see this moving along. Jody, can we talk about the mascot?
Yes, I just spoke to Mr. Lukaseski, and he's going to be getting me, emailing me the last round of mascots, devils that the students came up with.
Thank you. And, all right. We will then move on to our, student representative is not here tonight. We'll move on to Superintendent Wiles.
So a pretty short report tonight. I too wanted to congratulate the high school drama club. It was a professional, it really looked like a professional presentation and play and musical. It was excellent. The only thing I have to report is the State Education Department has modified regulations on the 180-day requirement. We'll put that information in the packet for you, but in addition to having a requirement of 180 days, State Education Department has now required that we meet certain hours. So the middle school, high school has to meet 990 hours of instructional time, and the elementary school has to meet 900 hours of instructional time. Lunch and passing times do not count, so we are looking at the possibility of changing the middle school and high school bell schedules to decrease the passing time from 4 to 3 minutes. We're a little bit short on the time. Also speaking to my colleagues about what other options there are to, to meet the requirements. But any deficiency in time will be a deduction of state aid. And the state comptroller's office, along with state ed, will be auditing our calendars now. So we have to make sure that, we're definitely within compliance. So it's a pretty significant change. It'll limit half days, and my understanding, I don't know if they've said we cannot have them. I know they're frowning upon 3-hour delays. I read that they're just not suggesting them. Another superintendent said that they actually have disallowed them. So more information to come, but I'll put the new regulations in your next packet. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Assistant Superintendent for Business, Mr. Napoli.
Thank you. There's only one item in my report. Every 5 years, we're required to go out for a new food service bid. The state finally put out the template. There's an actual prescriptive format that we have to follow. That template is in board docs. We're working with HM Bigley Consultants to help us put the bid specs out. So if there's anything outside of what we've already been doing, what our norm is, please let me know, when we'll have a conversation with the Bigleys and, making sure that we can try to get it into the bid specs. Iris?
What's the timeline on getting the bid specs done so you can put it out?
I don't have the schedule with me, but we actually have a schedule mapped out of when things have to happen. I can put that in my report the next time. I have it. I just don't have it with me tonight.
And so it becomes an open bid, any bidder who qualifies?
Any food service contractor can bid on operating our food service here at the school.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Napoli.
Can I ask a question? So in this bid, does it ask the company that happens to win the bid, that they have to keep the food service director on per se?
It does.
It does, right?
Yeah, we have.
We built that in our specs.
Yeah, we have details in there about keeping the staff.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Napoli. We'll then move on to
Mr. Byrne.
John.
Thank you, Lisa. I just had a question. Of course, the state, in their infinite wisdom, makes changes without any input and like, unfunded mandates and things like that. But will the change to minutes, how will that affect our daily proceedings as we go through? Besides cutting, say, movement time in the middle school, will it affect the high school?
It'll affect, both the middle school and the high school are on the same bell schedule. So whatever we do for the high school will be done for the middle school. So right now we have 47-minute periods. We'll probably go to a 48-minute period and a 3-minute passing time, as opposed to a 47-minute period and a 4-minute passing time.
And that'll keep us in compliance?
That'll keep us, I think, 2 or 3 hours, a few hours over.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We'll now go on to personnel resolutions for this evening. Under 6.1, under certified substitutes, upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, be it resolved that Erica Schumacher and Sarah Fashona be appointed certified substitute teacher at a rate of $125 per day work for the 2017-18 school year.
So moved.
Second?
Been moved and seconded. Any questions? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. Now I wait for her. Okay. We will now move on to 6.2, on certified substitute teachers. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, be it resolved that Lynn Gallagher and Angelica Morales be appointed uncertified substitute teachers at a rate of $95 per day work for the 2017-18 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. And just so the public knows, and those out there in TV land that are watching, you might be seeing a delay here in between the reading of our resolutions as we get used to this technology and the votes get casted electronically as well. and we have to wait for the votes to configure, and then we can move on to the next resolution.
Hold on, wait a little bit.
All right, ready? Under 6.3, Memorandum of Agreement. Upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, be it resolved that the Memorandum of Agreement between the Ellenville Central School District and the ETSRPA SRP unit be approved as attached.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. Under 6.4, election inspectors, upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, be it resolved that the 2018 budget vote election inspectors be appointed as follows.
So moved.
Move
Second.
the list.
The list has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries unanimous.
That's better. That was faster.
You live and you learn.
That was nice.
Nothing's popping up here. No, it says create two.
Remember we on?
Okay, all right. 6.5. Under budget resolutions, under 7.1, adopt BOCES budget. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, be it resolved that the Board of Cooperative Educational Services administration budget in the amount of $5,572,388 be approved for the 2018-19 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote. Trustee Burns?
Yes.
Trustee Collins?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Story?
Yes.
Trustee Freeman?
Yes.
Trustee Bruce?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion passes unanimously. Under adopt the proposed 2018-19 budget.
Hold on.
There it goes. It went.
It went, yes.
Just gotta give it a minute.
Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Ellenville Central School District adopt the proposed 2018-19 budget in the amount of $51,876,905, which is subject to voter approval at the annual budget vote on May 15, 2018, and to levy the necessary tax.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call. Trustee Burns?
Yes.
Trustee Collins?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Story?
Yes.
Trustee Freeman?
Yes.
Trustee Bruce?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries unanimous. And that includes the one carrier? Yeah. Under student IEPs, 8.1, be it
Motion to
resolved.
move the list.
The list has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Who moved it? John. Wayne seconded.
Yes. Right. So it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? All right, motion passes unanimous. Under 8.2,
Can I move 8.2 through 8.6?
Second.
8.2 through 8.6 has been moved and seconded. Are there any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries unanimous. Under Other, 9.1, Health and Welfare Services Contract. Resolved that the contracts providing health and welfare services for the Ellenville Central School District in the amount indicated below be approved. Pine Bush Central School District, 2017-18 school year, $5,178.12 for 6 students.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries unanimous. That concludes our regular business for this evening. I want to remind the board that the next meeting is scheduled for May 8th, and May 15th will be a special meeting of the board after the budget vote and the Board of Education vote is completed about 8:30 or so. I will entertain.
Just one thing, I think the Tuesday before that, Mr. Napoli's checking right now, I believe we have a budget hearing, the required budget hearing that'll
It's May
take, that's May 8th? It's not
Yes.
I think it's May 1st. You think it's May 8th?
Well, let me just check.
Let's just double check it.
So today is the.
All right, I'll entertain a
Which
mo-
date is May 8th?
Yes.
Is it the
So-
beginning of the meeting?
Does this Chromebook allow us the ability to vote ourselves rather than Nafisa going through the process, but still doing it individually in public by raising our hands? Because maybe that would make the process go a little smoother for Nafisa.
We will explore that and we'll get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
It's May 8th, I'm sorry, you're correct, May 8th is the regular board meeting.
So we do have our next regularly scheduled meeting along with the budget presentation, which will be on May 8th, and then the budget vote will be May 15th. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed, no one? We're adjourned.